The church was draped in silence. The kind of silence so heavy that even the soft rustle of fabric or the creak of a chair felt intrusive. Rows of mourners filled the pews, their eyes red, their hands folded tightly in their laps. The scent of flowers lingered in the air, mingling with the grief that seemed to cling to every corner of the room. They had all gathered to honor a man who had been more than just an officer. Daniel Granger was a decorated hero, a devoted husband, and a man who had stood as a pillar of strength in his community. His bravery had saved lives. His kindness had touched hearts. And now, here they were, saying their final goodbye. At the foot of the polished wooden casket sat Rex, Daniel's loyal canine partner, a German shepherd whose black vest still bore the bold word police. To most, Rex looked like just a dog mourning his master. He sat close to the coffin, his eyes fixed on it, his breathing low but restless. At first, Rex was quiet. He let out a soft whine, then lowered his head. Many thought it was grief. After all, Rex had lost more than a handler. He had lost his friend, his family, his world. Some even whispered that dogs often understand loss in a way deeper than humans can. But as minutes passed, Rex's behavior changed. His ears pricked sharply. His muscles tightened. A deep rumble vibrated from his chest. Suddenly, he stood on all fours, tail rigid, eyes locked on the coffin as if something inside demanded his attention. And then it came. A bark. Loud, sharp, echoing across the chapel like a thunderclap in the stillness. Heads turned. Mourners shifted uneasily. Some frowned. Others whispered, "He must be grieving." But Rex didn't stop. He barked again, louder this time, a desperate, insistent sound that carried urgency. The officer seated beside him tugged gently at his vest. "Easy, boy," he whispered, trying to soothe him. But Rex resisted. His claws scraped against the wooden floor as he lunged closer to the casket. His paws hit the polished surface, scratching at it with desperation. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Murmurs filled the silence. Daniel's widow, Amanda, lifted her tear-streaked face, alarm flashing in her eyes. She had never seen Rex behave this way. This wasn't sorrow. This was something else. To the untrained, it looked like grief gone wild. But to the veteran officers sitting among the mourners, men and women who had worked with Canine South for years, the signs were unmistakable. This wasn't panic. It wasn't fear. This was alertness. This was the focus of a trained working dog who had locked onto something. Officer Bryant, Daniel's closest friend, felt his pulse quicken. He rose from his seat, his boots echoing against the church floor. Kneeling beside Rex, he placed a firm but gentle hand on the dog's neck. "Rex, what is it, boy?" Rex didn't growl at Bryant's touch. Instead, he barked again, sharper, his nose pressed firmly against the base of the coffin. Then he circled, sniffing every edge, whining, pawing, returning again and again to the same spot. Bryant's eyes narrowed, and then, he froze. He heard something at first. He thought his ears were playing tricks. A faint noise, almost hidden beneath the echoes of Rex's bark. But no, it was real. A sound. A muffled, fragile cry. His blood ran cold. "Wait," he whispered, leaning in closer. And then his eyes widened in horror. He spun toward the funeral director. "Open it. Open the casket." The director stammered, "Officer, that's against protocol now." Bryant's voice thundered through the chapel, leaving no room for argument. His face was pale, his eyes wide. Gasps swept through the room. Mourners clutched their mouths. Amanda's heart raced so violently she thought it might burst. The director, trembling, fumbled with the latch. The lid creaked slowly open. The crowd leaned forward in anticipation, dread and disbelief hanging heavy in the air. And then, they saw it. Nestled against Daniel's folded uniform, tiny and fragile, was a newborn puppy. Alive. Its little body trembled. Its fur still damp. Its nose twitching as it whimpered weakly. The room erupted. Gasps, cries, whispers. No one could comprehend what they were seeing. Amanda staggered back, her hand over her mouth. The priest crossed himself in shock. Officers stared in wide-eyed disbelief. Rex, however, shifted instantly. His frantic energy melted away. His tail wagged softly. He leaned forward, releasing a gentle whimper, his eyes fixed on the newborn as if to say, "This is what I was protecting." Bryant carefully reached in, his hands trembling, and lifted the fragile creature. As he did, something slipped from Daniel's jacket, a folded note. Edges worn, Daniel's handwriting scrawled across the front. Bryant unfolded it with shaking hands. His voice cracked as he read aloud, "If anything happens to me, please take care of them." Bryant whispered, confusion thick in his voice. The word echoed through the chapel. The crowd fell silent again. Rex pressed his nose against the puppy, releasing a soft bark of confirmation. He hadn't been mourning. He had been guarding. Protecting. Bryant continued reading the letter. If you are reading this, it means I didn't make it home. But if Rex is still with you, and if by some miracle she made it to, then know this wasn't an accident. I kept it hidden, because I didn't want anyone to panic. She was born the night I went missing in the cold. Rex stayed with us. He never left. Even when I closed my eyes for the last time, he guarded her. He barked because I prayed someone would listen. By now, tears poured freely. Officers wiped their eyes. Amanda wept openly, clutching her chest. The puzzle had come together. Rex hadn't barked out of grief. He had been trying to deliver Daniel's final message. That night, as the sun set behind the hills, the puppy lay wrapped in a soft blanket at the precinct's K-9 office. A nurse confirmed what everyone had prayed for. She lived, she whispered, smiling through tears. It's a miracle. Rex sat close, eyes never leaving the fragile bundle. His usual sharpness was gone, replaced by a calm, protective presence no one had ever seen before. Amanda arrived, Daniel's note clutched tightly in her hand. She knelt beside Rex, her tears dripping onto his fur. He knew, she whispered. He knew she'd need you. She reached out and stroked his head. Rex leaned into her touch, still watching over the pup. Amanda's voice trembled as she looked at the tiny life before her. She'd grow up knowing who her father was, and the dog who saved her. The department made their decision without hesitation. The puppy would stay with Amanda and Rex. She would grow up surrounded not just by love, but with a living protector by her side. Rex hadn't lost his purpose with Daniel's death. That day he had found a new one. He hadn't barked because of sorrow. He had barked because life still remained.